There are some places you should never go, no matter how quiet they seem. And sometimes, it's not the house that's haunted. It's what's waiting beneath it. I was just supposed to watch the dog. That's it. My friend had this secluded house, far from the city, surrounded by trees, the kind of place where silence feels heavier than usual. He told me one thing before leaving. Don't let the dog into the basement. I laughed it off. At the time, it didn't feel like a warning. The first night was normal, at least at the start. The dog, Max, was calm, friendly. We watched TV, I fed him. Everything felt fine. Until 3:21 a.m. I remember the exact time because it woke me up. Not a bark, but something worse. Scratching. Aggressive. Frantic scratching. Coming from downstairs. I walked into the hallway, and that's when I saw him. Max, standing at the basement door. Frozen, but his entire body was trembling. Then suddenly, he snapped, barking violently, clawing at the door like something on the other side was calling him, or trying to get out. I tried to pull him away, but he wouldn't move. His eyes were locked on the door, and then he started whining. Not normal whining. It sounded like fear, pure fear. I don't know why, but I grabbed the handle. The moment I touched it, a chill ran through my hand. The door was ice cold, not just cold, unnaturally cold, like it didn't belong in that house. I opened it, just a little. Darkness, complete darkness, and a smell. Rotten. Heavy, like something had been left down there for too long. I shut the door immediately, told myself it was nothing. Old house, weird smells. Maybe the dog was just being a dog. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The next night, it happened again. Same time. 3:21 a.m. Exactly. This time it was worse. Much worse. Max wasn't just barking. He was screaming, throwing himself at the basement door, like he was desperate to get inside, or desperate to warn me. And then, I heard something from the other side. A faint sound, like movement. I forced myself to open the door again. The cold hit me first, stronger this time, like stepping into a freezer. The smell was worse too, thicker, unbearable. I turned on the basement light, and that's when I saw it. Things had moved. Boxes knocked over, objects scattered across the floor. Things I know were perfectly still the night before. No windows were open, no one could have gotten in. The house was locked, completely secure. And then, Max stopped barking, just stopped. I turned around slowly. He wasn't looking at the door anymore. He was looking past me, into the basement. I didn't turn back. I didn't want to see what he was seeing. I grabbed him, and we left the house before sunrise. My friend came back the next day. I asked him about the basement. He went quiet. Then he said something I'll never forget. I told you not to let the dog near it. It started with a sound, a faint, distant giggle. At first, she thought it was nothing, just noise from another apartment, kids playing, somewhere down the hall. But the problem was, she lived alone, and there were no children on her floor. Every night, around the same time, the sounds came back, soft laughter, echoing through the walls. Then, tap, 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 at her window, slow, deliberate, like tiny fingers, gently knocking from the outside. She lived on the 4th floor. There was no balcony, no ledge, nothing that anyone could stand on. Yet the tapping continued. One night, unable to ignore it any longer, she held her breath and listened. Silence. Then suddenly, running, fast, frantic footsteps racing down the hallway outside her door, back and forth, again and again, like children playing a game. But something felt wrong. The footsteps were too light, too quick, and they never stopped at any door. That's when she checked the security footage. What she saw made her blood run cold. At exactly 11:58 p.m., 2 figures appeared outside her apartment door. Small, child-sized, standing perfectly still, not moving, not speaking, just watching. For 10 full minutes, They didn't move an inch. Then, one of them slowly raised its hand and tried the door handle. Once, twice, again. Her heart was pounding as she kept watching. And then, at 12:32 a.m., they were gone. Not walking away, not running, just gone, vanished, right in front of the camera. She didn't sleep that night, or the next. But the worst came later, a few nights after that. There was a knock, not loud, not urgent, just soft, patient, waiting. She froze. Every instinct told her, do not open the door. Then she heard it, a child's voice, faint and almost broken. Mom, another voice joined in. Mom, we're home. Her breath caught in her throat. She didn't have children. She never had. The voices kept repeating, softer now, more desperate. Please, let us in. She backed away from the door, step by step, until the voices finally stopped. The next morning, she went straight to the building manager, shaking, terrified, demanding answers. At first, he avoided her questions, said it was probably just kids from another floor, said she was imagining things. But when she mentioned what they said, Mom, we're home, his expression changed. The color drained from his face, and after a long silence, he finally spoke. The last woman who lived in your apartment, he hesitated, had 2 children. Her heart dropped. There was an accident, he continued quietly. No one talks about it anymore. She stared at him, unable to speak. They were never found the same way, he added. And after that, he looked directly at her. People started hearing things. That night, the knocking came back, louder this time, more urgent, and the voices weren't asking anymore. They were begging. Mom, why won't you let us in? Some say, if you hear them, you must never answer, never open the door, because once you do, they don't leave. Mom, we're still here. It started small, almost harmless. After my late shifts at the store, I'd walk out into the empty parking lot, tired, distracted, just wanting to go home. That's when I saw it, a pink sticky note, pressed neatly against my car window. At first I smiled. It read, "You're doing great, keep going." I looked around, but the parking lot was empty. No footsteps, no voices, no one. I figured, maybe a coworker was messing with me. So I shrugged it off, got in my car, and drove home. The next night, there was another one. Same spot, same bright pink color. "You look tired today. Hope you're okay." This time, I didn't smile, because I hadn't told anyone I was tired. Days passed, and the notes kept coming. Every single shift, always waiting for me, always on my car. At first they stayed, friendly, "Drive safe. You deserve better. I notice you." That last one, that one made my stomach drop. I started checking the parking lot more carefully, looking between cars, watching shadows, listening for anything out of place. But every night, it was the same. Empty, silent, like no one had ever been there. Then, the messages changed, the handwriting, tighter, sharper, more personal. "Why don't you stay longer? I waited for you yesterday." I hadn't worked the day before. That's when I reported it. Management brushed it off. "Probably just a prank," they said. "Don't worry about it." But I did worry, because whoever it was, they knew my schedule. So I changed it. Picked different shifts, different hours. I thought maybe I'd lose them. But I didn't. The notes kept coming, no matter when I worked, no matter how late or how early. They were always there, waiting. I started getting home faster, locking my doors immediately, checking every room, every night, closets, windows, under the bed. Nothing, always nothing. Then one night, the note wasn't on my car. For the first time in weeks, Nothing. I stood there in the parking lot, heart pounding, and for a second, I actually felt relief until I got home. My apartment was dark, just like I left it. I stepped inside slowly, locked the door behind me. Everything looked normal, too normal. I walked into the kitchen, and that's when I saw it. A pink sticky note on my refrigerator. My heart stopped. I hadn't left it there. I knew I hadn't. My hands were shaking as I got closer. The note read, "You forgot to check here." I ran, checked every room, every corner, every inch of that apartment. But just like before, nothing. No sign of forced entry, no broken windows, no open locks, nothing. The next day, I changed everything. The locks, the windows, even stayed with a friend for a few nights. But eventually, I had to come back. And the notes? They continued, back on my car, like nothing had happened. But now, they weren't friendly anymore. "You left me alone. Why are you ignoring me?" I was inside, and you ran. I stopped sleeping. Every sound, every creak, felt like someone watching, waiting. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. No more notes. Not on my car. Not at work. Not at home. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. Nothing. It's been a long time now, and I still don't know who it was, or how they got inside. But sometimes, late at night, when the house is completely silent, I still check the refrigerator, just in case. Because the scariest part isn't the notes. It's the fact that whoever was leaving them knew where I lived, knew when I was gone, and got inside, without leaving a single trace. And I never found out how.